A big grand opening in the West Valley. Nestle's new beverage factory and distribution center is now nestled in Glendale.
Fox 10's Lauren Clark joins us now to share why the city hopes this facility will help brew even more economic development.
The new facility here in Glendale is sweet. Coffee creamer sweet, that is. New Nestle facility just had its grand opening today. Over 600,000 square feet of production here in Glendale, bringing over 300 jobs, including high-tech positions. Off of 150th Avenue in Northern near Glendale, this isn't your average Joe facility. On these grounds, workers will produce and distribute several Nestle creamer brands, including Coffee Mate, Natural Bliss, and Starbucks. As coffee culture continues to brew in the United States, this West Coast location will help deliver millions of in-demand products to customers.
When you think of Nestle being a major global brand, it is something that it definitely highlights our community, and I think it shows what we are able to do.
Lori German is with the Office of Economic Development in Glendale. She said Glendale was chosen because they had the land space and infrastructure needed.
These are high-end, high-paying jobs that are important for this community.
She says citizens will benefit too with the company's presence.
It's an organization that wants to be part of the fabric of the community. So they already have partnerships. They made donations to local organizations. They have partnerships with educational folks. They've already been working with the city and volunteering in different projects. So that is something where you truly see the needle move.
And that's not the only development looking to bring jobs into the West Valley City. Vi Resort, being constructed across the street from State Farm Stadium, is a 60-acre property set to include the world's first Mattel Adventure Park. It expects to bring in well over $13 million a year in tax revenue. German says projects like this are a part of the city's goal and vision for economic growth.
Every time that we have a site visit with the selectors or the different businesses and companies, we make sure that we come out full force.
And if one thing is for certain, it's Gen Z and millennials. They sure love their coffee, and they also love their coffee creamers. In fact, an estimated 70% of coffee cups are sweetened with creamer. Reporting here in Glendale, Lauren Clark, Fox 10 News.
Yeah, that area, in fact, one of the busiest and highly restricted airspaces in the country. The big question everyone has been asking since this happened is how could something like this happen?
Yeah, we are months, maybe even years, possibly away from that final report on this. But today, Fox 10 spoke with two former Arizona pilots, one who flew to that airport dozens of times and another who flew that exact path that the Black Hawk was taking. Fox 10's Lindsay Regas joins us live in studio with their insight to this deadly crash.
Yeah, Mark and Christina, experienced pilots say D.C. is one of the most controlled airspaces on Earth, but it's also very congested. They share what they know about flying that specific route and their experience with how the airport operates.
A D.C. plane crash involving an American Airlines plane and a Black Hawk military helicopter took the lives of 67 people. Brett Rustan is a former Black Hawk helicopter pilot who has flown the same route in D.C. He explains just how narrow the path is.
Rotary wing corridor for Black Hawks, or for those VIP transports that 12th Aviation flies, follows the Potomac River. And so it flies right next to Reagan International, where the planes are coming in and out on every half a minute.
Rustan says helicopters are separated from planes by altitude. The only exception is when a plane comes in to land, which is where Wednesday's crash happened.
A Black Hawk is not going to be visible to commercial pilots who do not fly with night vision goggles. So they're just flying the runway heading in on that runway 33. And the helicopters coming the opposite direction. They're under night vision goggles, but it's very difficult to see, an airplane with its lights on. It's coming towards you. Those lights are going to blur and blend with the lights of Alexandria and every city and town around that area.
Bob Middlestedt flew 60 years and is all too familiar with Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport.
When you landed on that runway, as I said, I looked it up. I've done it 113 times. When you landed on that runway, they often wanted you to expedite down the runway so you get past where the intersection was. And then once you're past that intersection, they can release the plane that's waiting on the north runway to go that way without fear that it's going to run into you.
As for what went wrong, Middlestedt says it's too early to know for sure.
there's probably been a series of mistakes made here. It's not any one thing, but it's the very small probability that some number of what look like insignificant actions or mistakes come together to cause a disaster.
We learned there's a shortage of air traffic controllers. Now, this may have been the case the day of the crash, with the FAA calling staffing at the air control tower yesterday not normal. Reporting in studio, Lindsay Regis, Fox 10 News.
Great insight from them tonight, Lindsay. Thanks for that video.
A big pro-immigration protest is going on tonight in the West Valley. Protesters blocking the roads near 75th Avenue and Encanto, waving Mexican flags and setting off fireworks. And then police showed up to keep things under control. Kinsey Beach has been there for more than an hour now, and she joins us live with the latest. Kinsey, what is the latest?
Yeah, well, Brian, this is continuously evolving. Actually, you're watching a large convoy of the Phoenix Police Department start to leave this protest. They're still going to have a presence here. I just spoke to some officers, but 2 hours ago, this was absolutely chaotic. Fireworks, donuts, protesters had the intersection blocked off until that large convoy came in here, and then they blocked off 75th and Encanto in all 4 directions. But most of the people dispersed when the Phoenix Police Department got here. Many of them going into these shopping centers. So as the Phoenix Police Department just cleared, it looks like the protest is actively picking up again. So now you're looking at a lot of that chaos, fireworks, burnouts, donuts. Protesters parked their cars in the road, waving Mexican flags. They are out here protesting immigration enforcement and mass deportations across the country. I talked to a few protesters. Some of them were emotional, many of them telling me that they are out here protesting for loved ones that cannot be out here themselves, as they fear they might be deported.
People out here working hard, and they're just not bad people. It's just not fair.
And there's emotion there. Why?
Oh, definitely.
Why?
It's family.
People who are hardworking and been here for so many years, paying taxes and working, and then one day their family is deported or their dad is deported. When they've been so many years here, it's just sad. It's sad.
There's people that can't speak. You know, there's people like me that can. Our parents came here to give us a future they couldn't have. You know, that's all it is.
I mean, criminals, like, take them. But like the people who are not doing anything and are just hardworking, why are they doing this to us?
So this has been going on almost 2 hours now. The Phoenix Police Department has now opened the roads back up, so a lot of those protesters are exiting these shopping centers back on the road. So we're hearing that honking again. A lot of kind of erratic driving going on around here, so this could pick back up. But once the Phoenix Police Department came in, people just started crossing in the intersection anytime there was a walk sign to protest. But the Phoenix Police Department just told me they are not completely leaving this area. They're going to stick around and make sure this stays under control. Reporting live in Phoenix, Kinsey Beach, Fox 10 News.
All right, thank you, Kinsey. Sounds like an emotional night out there. Probably more to come as well.
And we begin here at 6 o'clock with a couple absolutely devastated with the loss of their baby at 42 weeks. And now their attorney is planning to file a lawsuit against a birthing center in Mesa. Fox 10's Lauren Clark spoke with that couple tonight.
It's really important to stress that there's no criminal charges in this case. There's also no lawsuit filed yet. However, an attorney who's representing the family says he intends to do so soon because he wants those responsible to be held accountable. But when I reached out to the Willow Midwife Center for Birth and Wellness, they defended the reputation with statistics.
Noelle and Dylan Smerzel say they were excited to welcome baby boy James into the world in November 2023. When looking at options to give birth, Noelle says Willow Birthing Center in Mesa stood out.
I enjoy the idea of a business or a healthcare run by women that's exclusively serving women.
At 42 weeks, Noelle went into labor. The couple says the delivery was not easy.
Because she was in a lot of pain, so we were like, should we just go to the hospital and get something to help her mitigate the pain. And the midwife was very dismissive of it. She's like, no, this is normal, everything's fine.
But as the hours went on, the Smirzels say they realized everything was not fine. Eventually, Noelle was rushed to the hospital. After a 36-plus hour labor and attempted delivery at Willow, baby James died at Banner Desert.
There's nothing worse than that.
This is a tremendous tragedy, and it's something that's completely preventable.
Preventable, says the couple's attorney John Kelly, because of how far along Noelle was in her pregnancy.
These midwives know very much that at 42 weeks of pregnancy, it's too long. They have to transfer them to the hospital at that point.
It's a stance that Willow refutes. In a statement to Fox 10, a representative noted that the cutoff week to deliver a baby at a birth center is at 42 weeks. Willow also noted that it holds accreditation from the nation's highest standard in birth center safety and regulation and is run by 2 certified nurse midwives with doctorates in their field. At least one other wrongful death lawsuit was brought against Willow. The complaint filed describes another attempted delivery at the facility in June of 2023. Mesa police paperwork listing names matching the complaint describes a call for a child not breathing. The officer wrote that upon arrival at the hospital, a nurse made a comment about how Willow was known to the NICU staff. The officer also wrote that a physician said in 2022 they received about 8 newborn patients and that 2 or 3 died. Willow told Fox 10 it had a transfer rate of 13%, below the national average of 15.8%, and that Willow's NICU admission rate was less than 1%. The previous lawsuit was settled just weeks ago, according to an attorney's website. But now Kelly says he plans to soon file another.
We don't have all the information yet, but what we do have thus far shows us that there was clear negligence. It should have never happened. And the baby should have been transferred much earlier.
As for the Smirzels, they say accountability is important.
They get to keep going on throughout their days, but we live with the consequences when we don't feel like we necessarily should have had to, and it was preventable. So like every day we have to think about everything that has happened.
Fox 10 also viewed documents of statements of deficiency with the Arizona Department of Health Services filed against the midwives that Noelle says helped her. The midwives now have a chance to respond. Willow says it cannot discuss specific instances, citing HIPAA privacy laws. However, it did stress that state records show that it highly ranks consistently among one of the best for staff and facilities, and that it follows all policies and procedures. Reporting here in Phoenix, Lauren Clark, Fox 10 News.
New details now. A week into the Trump administration, an immigration crackdown is underway. The Department of Homeland Security reports it's deported more than 7,000 undocumented migrants, including hundreds with violent criminal records.
And some of those arrests happening right here in Arizona. Fox 10's Kenzie Beach is live tonight with more. Kenzie.
Yeah, guys, the DEA Phoenix division continues to announce the arrest of violent criminals. Today, the latest, a man wanted for a homicide in Mexico.
Most importantly, I declared a national emergency to stop the invasion of our southern border. We're going to stop that invasion.
ICE announcing over 1,000 arrests across the country Monday. The DEA Phoenix division and other federal partners a part of the effort. Sunday night in Phoenix, hundreds of protesters were blocking off the area of 75th and Encanto, protesting the new administration's deportation efforts. Protesters lighting fireworks, doing donuts and burnouts, marching and blocking off traffic until police arrived.
We just all want our families to be here. We're so hardworking. Why would they do this to us?
It's my family, but everybody's family. It's not fair at the end of the day.
The Trump administration's border czar, Thomas Homan, says the priority is violent criminals.
I don't think we arrested any families. We've arrested public safety threats and national security threats, bottom line.
Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs says she will not use state resources to aid in deportation.
Task Force Safe, that's interdicting drugs at our ports of entry. Those are the kind of efforts we should be spending our limited resources on. And I want to protect Arizonans and make sure that they're not subject to raids in churches and hospitals and schools.
Now, Now, Senate President Warren Peterson has introduced a new bill calling this the Arizona ICE Act. This would make law enforcement, it would require law enforcement to enforce, deportation and assist in federal immigration efforts. So we'll see what comes of that Arizona ICE Act. Reporting live in Phoenix, Kenzie Beach, Fox 10 News.
Kenzie, thank you for that tonight.
The president is open to deporting individuals who have broken our nation's immigration laws. So if they are here illegally, then certainly he is open to deporting them.
The Trump administration changing course a bit on its immigration crackdown. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt confirmed at a news conference today that those who unlawfully enter the country could face deportation.
But during an exchange with the White House press corps today during that news conference, Leavitt says that those with criminal backgrounds are still top priority for ICE.
Violent criminals do not receive precedence in terms of the deportations taking place.
The president has also said two things can be true at the same time. We want to deport illegal criminals, illegal immigrants from this country, but the president has said that, of course, the illegal criminal drug dealers, the rapists, the murderers, the individuals who have committed heinous acts on the interior of our country and who have terrorized law-abiding American citizens, absolutely, those should be the priority of ICE, but that doesn't mean that the other illegal criminals who entered our nation's borders are off the table.
U.S. immigration law considers illegal entry into the country a civil violation, not a criminal offense. Those detained by ICE away from the border are entitled to a hearing with an immigration judge who decides if they can stay or face deportation. And tonight, Arizona groups are also changing course. Puente, Arizona held what it calls a Migra Watch training.
The new immigration policy has many Arizonans on edge right now that their loved ones could be forced to leave the country. Fox 10's Lindsay Regis joins us live tonight with more. Lindsay.
Mark and Christina, this is creating a lot of fear within the community, so we sat down with a local immigration attorney about what is happening.
If it was easy to catch the bad apples, the convicted felons, if it was easy to do that, then this problem would be solved, but it isn't.
Monday morning, the DEA Phoenix Division apprehended a man wanted for homicide in Mexico. Since President Trump took office, more than 7,000 criminal migrants have been arrested, according to the Department of Homeland Security.
If you have a final order of removal, and there are 1.4 million people like that right now, it's time to go, okay? If you're done, if the judge has ordered you deported and you've lost your appeal, then that's a reality you have to deal with.
Nick Suriel, an immigration attorney since 1992, says it's important to know your rights.
Preparation, okay, have a plan. Identify somebody who can pay a bond for you. It has to be a U.S. resident or a U.S. citizen. If you have adult children, that's usually the best, over 18. That's usually the best person to post a bond for you. Understand that this is a process. I mean, if the numbers go as high as I think they're going to go, you could be in detention for 2-3 months, all right, maybe longer.
Mitzi Castro is the membership organizer for Puente, a migrant worker justice foundation.
We have many rights, although they might make it seem as if we don't. That is not the case. You have the right to remain silent. Depending on the situation, the right to not have them enter your home, place of business, or worship.
ICE has been updating arrests daily. Yesterday, nearly 1,000 arrests were made nationwide. Reporting live, Lindsay Regis, Fox 10 News.
We're learning more about a man who is accused of killing one and injuring 2 others in a stabbing spree during a children's birthday party. So take a look. This is the suspect here, Hunter Strawbridge. This all happened at a home near 75th Avenue and Broadway a Saturday night. Family members tell us that the victim is a 29-year-old man and that this individual was actually one of the individuals there's boyfriend. Now, they were celebrating a 2-year-old's birthday, according to court paperwork, when an argument broke out after he was told that he was making another female family member feel uncomfortable. So that argument then turned physical, which is when Strawbridge stabbed and killed 29-year-old Jake Carbonell. His brother and female cousin were also injured in the stabbing attack. Strawbridge was taken into custody and faces several charges, including second-degree murder.
Now at 5:30, high-profile civil rights attorney Ben Crump held a news conference today announcing a new lawsuit filed against the state of Arizona, and that complaint is linked to the massive Medicaid scandal that cost Arizona an estimated $2 billion in fraud.
The scheme involved so-called bad actors targeting vulnerable people with addictions. Fox 10 investigator Justin Lum reports on behavioral health providers who say they were hit with baseless accusations.
Nearly 80 plaintiffs are included in this complaint against Arizona's Medicaid agency. They claim they've either been wrongfully suspended, reimbursed for services way too slowly, and some businesses say they've gone bankrupt.
They came up with a way to scapegoat it and try to blame hardworking providers for their malfeasance.
Attorney Ben Crump calling out Arizona's healthcare cost containment system, saying Access unjustly targeted black and brown behavioral health providers during a large-scale crackdown in 2023. Crump says providers of color were 300 times more likely to be denied payments for services provided compared to non-minority providers.
Without just cause or reasoning, we were ignored, intentionally slow paid, and eventually received no payment at all for the services we provided to Access clients.
Fox 10 has extensively covered the sober living scheme that preyed on vulnerable Native Americans on the American Indian Health Plan, enticing them with alcohol and drugs while not providing any treatment services. These plaintiffs say Access overcorrected with the new administration and used a ready, aim, fire approach on hundreds of providers.
The state suspended, terminated, and got rid of people with a knee-jerk reaction.
Some of these plaintiffs have been suspended due to allegations of fraudulent billing, which stops payments immediately.
The fact that the unsubstantiated claims were enough to suspend your license, to terminate your license without you never having an opportunity to defend yourself.
Suspended facilities have 30 days to appeal the decision, but plaintiffs say they are still waiting for state hearings. The crackdown, Crump believes, will result in Access patients without available treatment and care. At the end of the press conference, a heated moment as this woman spoke up.
You know how you help? You come to our communities, to our tables, and listen to our guidance and our leadership instead of being outside of our communities and acting like you know what is best.
Reva Stewart, who leads Stolen People, Stolen Benefits, made her presence felt, she says, a reminder to focus on the thousands of Native American victims.
They feel like they're being discriminated against. Where are the seeds of our people that should be here if they were for the people?
Crump's plaintiffs are suing the state over several allegations, including lack of due process, racial discrimination, and negligence, to name some. They are requesting a jury trial. We have reached out to Access for comment, and we have not heard back. I'm Fox 10 investigator Justin Lum.
Teachers in the Isaac School District rallied today, bringing attention to the district's massive $28.5 million debt.
And it could cost them their jobs, also could force the closure of some schools. Fox 10's Ashley Rodriguez joins us now with the latest. Ashley.
Yeah, 650 employees in the district went to work today knowing that they weren't getting paid. Can you imagine? It shows you the dedication of these educators. But payroll was due yesterday. And until the state figures out how to get this district back in the black, these teachers, these parents, these students, all this staff, they have no idea what's coming next. Isaac School District told its teachers they couldn't talk to the media, but Wednesday morning, dark and early outside of Mitchell Elementary, their rally signs said it all.
Now they committed to going to work today, being not receiving a paycheck and knowing they may not be paid with no future plan. They'll have to make the decision again tonight.
The consensus among most is the district's governing board, who's gone silent, and Superintendent Dr. Mario Ventura, who resigned, severely mismanaged taxpayer dollars, finding their $43 million budget nearly $30 million underfunded. The ripple effect means 650 teachers, office staff, custodians, cafeteria workers, and nurses didn't get paid this week. And if they choose not to show up, 5,000 students may wake up to find out their school can't operate.
We're frustrated because we didn't do this as parents. The teachers didn't do this.
Arizona House Rep Matt Gress is attempting to get his $2.5 million bailout bill to the floor, an an amount that would only cover one payroll. The U.S. Department of Education wants to tap into $6 million in pandemic relief funds. Governor Hobbs says her staff is also looking for both a short-term fix that will pay staff and keep the doors open and a long-term solution that will investigate where district leadership went wrong.
These teachers who this is happening to them through no fault of their own, it's happening by severe mismanagement.
And she wants to hold them accountable. Now, something to keep in mind, this district is considered underserved and high poverty. That means that many of these parents don't just have cars that they can take their kids to new school districts in. They walk to school, and many of these kids rely on school breakfast and school lunch to eat. Something else to keep in mind is that the employees, they come from all over the valley, so it could be your neighbor who doesn't know how they're going to pay their rent this Saturday. We're going to keep an eye on this, and we'll send it back to you in the studio.
A Valley teenager is fighting for his life tonight after being hit by a truck. It happened when he was crossing the street on his way to his bus stop, and his family has a message for drivers tonight. Here's Nicole Christine.
Jariah Smith's family says he was simply going through his morning routine on Wednesday, walking the short distance from their home across the street to his bus stop. But this Wednesday, he didn't make it across the crosswalk.
He just means so much to all of us, and it's a very sad thing to see this happen to him because he does not deserve it.
16-year-old Jariah Smith's sisters say he may be shy, but he's such a light in their lives. Jariah has been learning guitar, but now it's unclear when he'll play again after getting hit by a car at the intersection near his Santan Valley home on Wednesday morning.
I was actually driving to work and drove past him minutes after it happened, and we saw him laying over there on the street, and he was in his Green Day hoodie, so he had to get it cut off of him, and he just got it for Christmas.
Jariah was flown to a nearby hospital with a number of serious injuries.
His major things are the brain bleeds that he endured. He's got a shattered pelvis. They did end up doing some surgery, and they found out that his right leg is also completely shattered. He's recently started seizing.
The family's main focus right now is on getting Jariah home, but they also shared a message to drivers to slow down and pay attention.
This could have been anybody's kid. Our sister was feet behind him. This could have been both of our siblings. We could have lost both of our siblings because somebody wanted to not pay attention in a school zone, in a crosswalk where kids walk every single day at the exact same time.
He's laying in bed fighting for his life because somebody wasn't paying attention or couldn't take a couple of seconds to just slow down and not be so in a rush to wherever he may have been going. The Pinal County Sheriff's Office says impairment is not believed to be a factor in this wreck, and the teen driver did stay on scene and report the incident, but it is still under investigation. Reporting in Santan Valley, Nicole Christine, Fox 10 News.